Okay, I'm going to finally get around to filming my road trip and camp setup in my Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. I'm cheating and doing it in my driveway because every time I've tried to do it when I'm camping, by the time I've got around to filming this kind of stuff, it's been too hot, there's been too many flies, there's been too much wind, too bright a sun, too harsh shadow. So that is definitely smoke, and the wind's changed. So I am going to start thinking about packing stuff up and get the hell out of Dodge. Car's all loaded up. Just got to throw the chair in. Smoke's not thick, so I'm not panicking yet. Can't see any sort of flame front. It's wind. There's a lot of cleared fields and roads and things between me and where all that smoke's coming from. I can either head down actually onto the salt lake, or I can take the track around and further down that way onto a little peninsula where I should be pretty much cut off from any fire if it does come through. But oh yeah, it's getting crazy now. I'm gonna load the chair in the car and make sure I'm ready to run. I'm cheating today. We've got an overcast day, so hopefully this will work. Start from the front. Not much to it really, same as usual. A few extra cables and USBs. I've got my little two-way UHF down there. I've sort of rigged up a bit of a cargo organizer. It's designed to go on the back seat, but I've sort of flipped it around so I've got access to things from the front. And USBs that go to the 12-volt battery, lithium battery that I've got in behind this seat, which I'll show you now. So, because we've only got a very small 12-volt battery in these sort of vehicles, they're not designed to really run accessories for any length of time. So what I've got is an all powers, and it's a 1,100 watt hour lithium pack with 240 volts inverter, USBs, 12 volt output, which are mainly used for running the fridge. It's also got, like I said, 2400 watt AC output as well. So if I need to run any high power appliances, I can use that. Otherwise, I use the built-in car inverter. Sleeping, I've made a platform, very simple, just to level everything out with the small drawer I've got in the back. So everything sits nice and flat. All I've got to do is move that seat forward a little bit and I've got a full length sleeping area. Okay, we're in sort of transport setup at the moment. I'll be opening the drawers when I go over the other equipment that I take with me. Coffee maker, that's obvious. That's the little overpriced Dometic water tap. That is supplied through this filter here because the water that comes through this food grade tubing tastes absolutely disgusting. I don't know why, but it does. It just tastes like rubber. So I got one of these secondhand that I can run through, and it's ultra fine, so it even filters out things like amoeba. And on this side, I've just got, I can set that up now. Just a little cardboard thing that I use for loose odds and sods, basically a parcel shelf. 12 volt fridge, compressor, that's a cut down, a Zito compressor. Cut it down because there's just a whole heap of plastic and stuff that I don't need. So it's just got the guts of it there, fits in there nicely. That's 1100 watts, 180 litres per minute, 240 volt compressor. With a nice long hose I can reach all the tyres, so that works nicely. And that's where my water lives, 20 litres. That can be pressurised as well to help out with the tap. And that's a special, that was one of those filtration type setups that I got second hand. Didn't come with the filters. Okay, oh yeah, just briefly. My 240 volt power, because the passenger 240 volt socket is really hard to get to once you've got the car set up like this. I've run a short extension and this power board They say don't use extensions, but I run only low wattage appliances and never more than one at a time. So it's just for ease of access and also to save wear and tear on the sockets in the car. Same for the rear. I keep that power board plugged in there again so I don't get wear and tear on this socket, because that's going to be far more expensive to replace than one of these. And I will open up the drawers, get out all the gear that I use while I'm camping, and get back to that. This interior space might not look like much, but when you're lying in bed here, obviously without the tripods in the way, this setup, you have things like your clothes bags and so forth stored over here. You've got your cold things in your fridge. With that shut, you've got a table there where I can set up my laptop and watch movies. This drawer here also acts as a shelf at night time. So you can store things up here or watch your laptop there, wherever you want to put it. And that works really effectively. It's really quite cozy. Just over in the corner there, that's my little bug zapper. That is really, really, really handy. You get in your car at night, and if it's full of mozzies, which it will be, you run the little moths and things, you run that little bug zapper, and they get attracted to the light and fried, and it clears out your car because they love sticking themselves to the headlining here, and if you try and squash them, yeah, you're going to end up with permanent stains on your roof. So you want to draw them away and kill them another way and clear out your car. Works well. Alrighty, so we can get on to the nuts and bolts side of things. Cooking for a start, which obviously when you're camping it's pretty important. I started off originally with an induction cooker, but I got sick of having to carry the pots and pans and that kind of thing, and I found this thing secondhand. It's called a Gesund plate, and basically it's just it's kind of like a one of those glass top ceramic stoves. So it's got heating elements under the glass which is shockproof, and you cook directly on the glass surface. So you can sort of use this as a food prep area, then cook on it, then you just hit it with water after you finish cooking. It's got a little fat tray there, and it wipes off really clean. No non-stick stuff on it or anything like that, it's just glass. Really handy, really quite effective. So, and that's low profile, so it fits into my tiny little drawer here. Shut that up. In this one, which also has a table with it, so a lot of the time I'm just using that as a table, making coffee, that kind of thing. Quick food prep, get things out, put that back down, don't have to use that one. There is a little cutting board thing here which is kind of useless, but again, to make coffee and stuff on, it's fine. But in here, and this is where, again, same with that hot plate there, this is where having the 240 volts, let's just straighten you up a little bit, I don't know why you're pointing over there. Oh, that's why, you keep moving. Okay, having the 240 volts just frees you up with your choice of appliances. And when you've got so much battery power with you, it's sort of silly not to be able to use it. So in here, the usual sorts of things: cutting boards, tire repair kit, jack, camp lights, cutlery, jugs and so forth. For heating water and things like stews, casseroles, reheating, that kind of thing, I found one of these little Burco kettles, mini kettles. It's 800 mils or something like that, 750 watts, and completely stainless steel, no exposed elements or anything, so you can put anything in there. It's great. The only problem with it is when you plug it in, it's on and it's only got one power setting, and that's a full-on boil. So to get around that, oh yeah, it comes with a little egg poacher type lid as well, but that's a great little device, that one. To get around the power problems, I picked up one of these from a brew supply shop. What this is It only works with resistive, dumb resistive elements. But what it is, it's basically a controller, a voltage controller for resistive heating elements, for doing brews and things. But it basically means you can turn the voltage down and hence turn the heat down on any of these simple resistive appliances. So you've got full, basically infinite control from 0 to 100, which is great because you can, you know, put a casserole or something in that and then start it off hard and then reduce it to a really slow simmer or just a warm through, which is really, really useful. So I can use that with just about any resistive heating appliance and make it fully adjustable. So we'll just plug into that. In here as well, I replaced an existing sandwich toaster with this George Foreman grill. Again, secondhand. Try and get everything secondhand. I got this one because it has the height. It's got the adjustable height kind of thing, so it'll fit various large things in there, and it's got the drip tray underneath. So no mess to clean up. All goes into that, wipe it out, we're all good to go. And again, if I'm cooking something delicate in that, I can use that little heat controller. So, let's get this tidied back up. And on top so things don't scratch. And everything fits in there neatly. This can actually clip on to the end here. When I take this thing off, that's just held on with Velcro. And this table can just clip on, so you've got a long extended area as well. But that's just handy in itself. All right, there's a few other things. What I do is have my camping grab bag. A couple of these. One's got clothes in it, and one's got all extra cooking type things and food or anything else, condiments that you want to throw in there that's not going in the fridge. Just one of those Aldi Adventure Ridge, good canvas, cheap, can't go wrong. Again, nearly all of this stuff is second hand apart from things like this. In this case, little Sunbeam food warmer. So low wattage, I think it's 80 watts or something like that. So it's great if you just got a casserole or curry or something, soup, and you can just heat it up while you're driving. This seals pretty well and it's well insulated, so you can just sit that on the floor, have that plugged in, that warms your food, it'll be hot by the time you get where you're going. What I used to use before I got the little Burko kettle was this little guy, similar sort of thing, again secondhand. It's like a mini fry pan, has a little pan that goes on top of that you can heat up water to do noodles and that kind of thing with. That's kind of redundant now because of the little Burko. Oh yeah, and as a pie warmer. I use this one as a pie warmer with the extra pan. So bits and pieces in there. And then the last little thing, which is sort of replacing the pie warmer, I will go and get that. Now, this is one of the few new things that I have bought. I was in basically a curtain shop and found this. It's as bad as Aldi these days. And it's this dinky, tiny, little, mini, lightweight air fryer. Tiny little guy. That's sort of like your cooking area there. So that is now going to be the pie warmer. It's perfect for, say, doing a chicken thigh or something like that, or a few chicken wings. Again, it's lowish wattage. It's only 750 watts, but it's a very small cooking area, so it's very efficient and quick. So where all your 12 volt crowd crow about their Travel Buddy ovens, which take hour and a half to heat up a pie, something like that, after preheating the oven, we can use something like this, and I can either have this plugged in and run it. I can put it on the footwell, have the steam going somewhere safe, the heat coming out somewhere safe, nowhere near anything that's going to melt. I can heat things up in that while I'm driving, or you can heat things up quickly when you get to camp because you've got 240 volts and 750 watts. So that has yet to be tested in anger, but that to me is basically the 240 volt version of a mini oven. Really easy to pack. You can throw it anywhere. It's plastic, it's light, it's not going to scratch anything in your car. So I'm looking forward to having a little play with that guy. And that is just about it. Apart from the coffee maker, this is kind of a semi-commercial pod machine, sort of designed for hotels and offices and things like that. So getting the pods is a little bit more tricky, but you can get them. They're a larger pod, so they got more coffee in them. And it's all Italian, it's not an espresso, because I just don't want to deal with anything Nestle. And what attracted me to this one, apart from the larger size of the coffee pods, is that it's got a milk frother built into it, which does steam the milk as well as whipping it with the little spinny thing. So that works just great with an all-in-one device like this. Haven't been using it much lately. I don't know why I've got it in the car right now, because it's been so hot. I've been drinking iced coffees instead. So that's pretty much the setup. I guess you'd call it a maximalist, minimalist setup. I don't have an awning. I took that off because I don't find I'm sitting around outside in the middle of the day. That's not the way my trips work. So I don't sort of need that shade. I'm usually in an area where I've got shade from trees or something like that, or I'm arriving in the afternoon. And at night time, I'm either sitting out in my chair looking at the stars, or I'm in there watching a movie, sleeping, whatever else. So I got rid of the awning. I still have it, but I took it off. I do have let's do it this way. I do have a roof rack, which I can put a spare tyre on if I'm travelling further afield and I'm going to be more isolated, because I don't want to get a situation where I've got to put my car on the back of a tray again, when I couldn't fix a huge hole with a tyre repair kit. Yes, I did. I went through the compressor, and coupled with that compressor is a plug kit. So for any small punctures, which are the ones you're most likely to get, it'll do the job. And if I'm going further afield, like I say, I've got a full-size spare I can put on the roof. I've also got it's not an awning, but it's kind of like a lean-to gazebo type thing. That I can attach to any part of that roof rack. So it means I can have shade coming out the back of the car, if that's appropriate, and shelter for cooking and that kind of thing, rather than an awning out the side. Or I can put it out the side if I want it out the side, because that suits the sun or setup better. Or if I want shelter over that door, which is what I use to get in and out when I'm sleeping. So all in all, that's my setup. I've got emergency supplies down here, things like first aid kit, things to put on the ground if I need to climb under the car for anything, hats, warm tops, jackets, that kind of thing. First aid kit strapped behind the driver's headrest, and another first aid kit in there, so 2 first aid kits. You saw the fire extinguisher down by the battery, and I think that pretty much covers it. And that makes for a very comfortable single person setup for when I'm doing that kind of camping. If I'm camping with someone else, I've got a stretcher tent, which is better than a swag because you're off the ground and it's nice and flat and even, so it's basically a double-sized stretcher with a tent built over the top of it. And so someone can sleep in the car and someone can sleep in that, so that's great for those sort of situations. But a lot of the time I'm solo, and it means you can travel light, you get to where you're going, you set up camp in no time at all. Basically, there is no setup time. Get your chairs out, that sort of thing. I take a chair with me. Tables are basically built into the vehicle or on the side of the chair, and you're pretty well covered for everything. Because I'm going out there to shoot astrophotography, I just need to chill for a couple of hours till it gets dark, and then I'm running around doing that and cooking food, and then I'm sleeping. And it means that you leave a very small footprint of where you are. You get away quickly the next day, so you're not faffing around, rolling things up and putting things in bags and all that kind of sort of trouble, folding up rooftop tents, any of that. And I just find it really comfortable. It's a very comfortable place to sleep, I must say. And yeah, that's my camping setup. I did neglect to mention one thing. The battery pack that I've got, the lithium pack that I've got, that's going to last me a couple of days running the fridge, no problems at all. So I tend to just charge that up with solar when I'm at home, and it's usually good for probably 3 days if I was really just running the fridge off it. If I do need to charge that on the road, if I'm on a longer trip, it does have a built-in charger, 1500 watts. That's a really fast charge. Unfortunately, it trips the inverter in the car. Even though it's rated for 1500, it goes a little bit higher. And I think because of the type of load that it is, it's not happy with it. So I can't charge it directly with the 240 volts from the car. So this is a clunky thing, but what I do is I have a 25 amp 240 to 12 volt charger, and I plug that into the solar input, which can take up to, I think, 1500 watts or 1000 watts anyway. I plug that into there and then run the battery charger as a 13.8 volt power source. So it's a constant 13.8 volts, not a battery charge mode. Because if you put it in battery charge mode, it won't detect through the solar input because of the way it works. But if you put it in just as a straight current, it will treat it like a solar panel or output from a battery. So that's how I get around that. It's clunky, but I don't have to do it very often. And it's far less faff than setting up a 12 volt charging system via the car's auxiliary battery. And I just don't want to touch the wiring in this car. You've already got 240 volts, you can run it anywhere, you don't need thick cables, just your standard 240 volt cables, so I'm not going to mess with the 12 volt system at all. So that's how I do that. In addition to that, the other way I can charge that battery pack, as I alluded to, is with solar. It does have a multi-point, whatever it is, tracking charge in it, solar charger in it, built into it. So I've got a little 50 watt solar panel under there. And if I'm going to be camped up for a full day somewhere, I can put that out on an extension in the sun with the car in the shade, and I can put, once that fridge is cold, it's a 60 watt draw when it's running, but once everything's cold in there and with the cycling, a 50 watt panel should minimize the reduction in battery usage. So that's how I work around that, but I'm usually not staying in one place for a huge amount of time. Oh yes, one last thing about the charging of that battery pack. Head off the obvious question, why don't I just charge it from the cigarette lighter socket? It sucks down more power than that socket is happy to provide over a long period of time. And here's a warning for anyone. Even though they are fused at 15 amps, the lighter sockets themselves do not dissipate heat very well. So if it's putting out a continuous 10 amps over time, which is still a fairly slow charge for a battery of that size, that ends up melting components inside the lighter socket itself. Ask me how I know this. So I avoid using the lighter sockets for any high amperage accessories. A fridge, a compressor fridge, low wattage like this one, 65 watts, would be fine. But do not put any high draw appliances connected to your cigarette lighter sockets. That's why I have to use that battery charger workaround and get the power via the AC circuit. I hope that makes sense.